Hey guys, welcome to the Master Wing channel. If you enjoy this game of Wingspan, if you want tips, strategy, analysis, and of course gameplay, this is what this channel is about. Please consider subscribing or liking. To all my subscribers out there, thank you for your support. Even just a little comment saying great content or thanks for the video or anything like that, it really means a lot and keeps me going, so I appreciate your like and subscription. Today we have something a little different. It's not gameplay footage, but we are answering a question that has been weighing in my mind in this Oceania competitive scene. We're trying to get better with this Oceania layout, and this particular card, I've heard great things and I've experienced bad things and everything in between. So you probably already know what card I'm talking about, but it has been whispered to be the next wood duck. Some have said it's even better than the wood duck because it can go in the grassland. You probably know the card. It is the Willy Wagtail. So this video, at the end of this video, we're going to come to a conclusion. Does it meet my expectations? Does it go beyond my expectations, or does it fall below my expectations? Is this bird overrated? Is it overhyped? Or is it overpowered? Is it exactly what we want it to do, and is it exactly awesome? These are the questions that I want answered at the end of this video. Please feel free to comment and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. Is this card worth it? Maybe this video can help explain or help provide a little bit of insight into if you should grab it and if you should play this bird. So we've got a little bit of research here in front of us. I was going to make hours and hours of editing content, and then I realized that the majority of people out there just probably don't care. So here we are. This is going to be a dialogue. I'm going to put some visuals up on the screen just to show you some of the birds we're talking about here. We did a little research, some basic math to back up some of our claims. We're going to go through the pros and the cons, starting with the pros, okay? So I can see why it's compared to the wood duck. Obviously, you are able to draw cards in a non-card drawing habitat. So, you know, anytime you're drawing extra cards while you're gaining food or laying eggs, that's what the Willy Wagtail can do. It just combines actions, potentially saving you your turns. And in Oceania, you can discard extra cards for extra points. You can get rid of them for food or eggs, whatever it is. So anytime you're gaining extra cards, that's hardly ever a bad thing. I can see the comparison, but is it better than the wood duck just because it can go in the grassland? Let's look at the brown power. Of course, it says that you can draw any bird from the tray as long as it is a bowl or star nest. That is a big deal. That is the big caveat there, and you can reset the tray before you do so. So immediately when Oceania comes out, this is considered an upper tier bird, possibly one of the best in the entire expansion. I mean, that's what the chatter was about, in my opinion, for the in the Wingspan online community. So we've played a decent sample size. I think we've definitely played over 100 games of Oceania. It's been out for a little over a month now. At the time of this recording, Asia is out, but it is not out on the Monster Couch app. So I'm looking at this pool of birds, right, that the wagtail can potentially grab, and that's what we're going to dive a little deeper into. So let's talk about the pros. Some of the notable birds that the wagtail can give you access to. Is this the gateway bird to unlocking your game? Okay, so some notable birds here, and again, we'll try to put a lot of these on the screen. The European goldfinch, a great pink power. Hummingbirds, all the hummingbirds and the nightingale could go nicely with that bird because you're getting cards, you could be getting eggs, and then you're also getting food. So those are some bowl nest birds to look out for. Of course, we got to throw in the star nest Franklin's gull because that's just been a powerful bird from day one. You have the noisy miner. Some have said that is one of the best Oceania cards because you're scoring 3 points per brown power activation. That could go really well with the wagtail. and it could give you access to it. Of course, you're giving an egg to your opponent, but 2 eggs and a tuck, that's a great bird to have in the pool. You've got the yellow power mannequin that you could use at the end of the game. The spangled drongo, I don't think that needs much introduction, but that's a great pink power for Oceania. A huge bird that I'm looking out for with the wagtail is the chipping sparrow. So if you put the wagtail in the forest and the chipping sparrow next to it, you've got your eggs and card drawing issue, you are set. So I'm just kind of putting these birds in your mind to just ingrain in your brain, what are you actually looking for? What are you actually digging for specifically? I think I had some very grand plans when I first saw this bird. I'm gonna grab all these bonus cards, all these high point birds. So here we are to actually shed some light on the specifics. What are the birds that you can get and what are the odds of you getting that, okay? So one thing I've noticed with these birds, speaking of, there's 114 birds that have a bowl or star nest. 114, and if you take the wagtail out of it, assuming you've played it on your board, that's 113 out of 356 birds in the Monster Couch application right now. So that's about 32% of the total birds have the bowl or star nest. Some other notable birds before we go into the cons. I'm talking about the pros here, things that you could grab. Tucking birds. Y'all, all the blackbirds, the brewer's blackbird, red-winged blackbird, yellow-headed blackbird, the tuck and lay birds, the grackle, those would all go well with that. The bush tit, the waxwing, the chaffinch that can tuck 5 extra cards in your grassland, that would be a huge bonus for the willy wagtail. The barn swallow, the house finch, the robin, the yellow-rumped warbler, those could all go in your forest and score you 1 extra point of tuck and draw, tuck and draw. The magpie lark, which is a game end power. And interestingly, I didn't realize this, that there's 4 copy birds with either a bowl or star nest. The tui, the superb lyrebird, the gray catbird, and the northern mockingbird. So if you have a bird that you want to copy in this engine that you're building, what are you actually looking for with this willy wagtail? You could be searching or digging for a copying bird. And then we have the Say's Phoebe. So the Say's Phoebe lays an egg on all bowl nests. So if you've had some success with the wagtail, that might be a white power to look out for. And then last but not least, the teal powers. There was quite a few teal powers that I think would be great in Oceania. From an egg laying perspective, you have the black redstart, the lesser white throat, where you lay an egg in an empty row. So that could help solve some of the Oceania problems of how do you obtain eggs? Because who wants to lay just 2 eggs? You know what I mean? Moltoni's warbler and the white wagtail that lets you play another bird at the end of the round. You could stick the wagtail in the forest, gain food, pick up Moltoni's warbler, and then you could transition to more of a mixed game where you're playing a bunch of birds. And in Oceania, with all the food, that's very possible. And then the dunnock, kind of like the white throat, gives you more eggs at the end of the round. So a lot of good teal powers out there, honestly, for the wagtail, if you get the wagtail down early. So those were a lot of the good birds that I think the wagtail has access to. Let me talk about some of the not so great things that I've come across. Here's this little research that I've done, okay? So of the 113 bowl or star nest, how many birds are worth 7 or more points? Of the 113, there are only 8 birds that are worth 7 or more points. That is 7% of the pool. So I talked about these grand plans in my head, thinking I'm gonna get all these birds. I'm thinking of these warblers, the prothonotary warbler, trumpeter swan, all these things that don't have the right nest type. So if you're thinking, man, I'm just gonna stick it in the forest, who needs a wood duck? You might be surprised how many low point birds you're gonna see that you can actually pick up. There's only 8 that are worth 7 points or more. I thought that was kind of below my expectations. Let's talk about bonus card birds. I'm thinking of all these finches and surely these warblers. They're all out there ready for the taking. Of the 113, there's only 6 birds that are bonus card related as far as drawing bonus cards. We have the Bell's Vireo, the Cassin's Finch, the Painted Bunting, the North Island Brown Kiwi, the Cerulean Warbler, and the Atlantic Puffin. So there's 6 good ones, but that's about 5.3%, if I'm not mistaken. Of that huge pool of 113 birds, only 6 of them are going to give you bonus cards. Some other thoughts that stuck out to me, there's only 4 yellow powers, so that's 3.5%. There's 5 birds that play another bird, that white power, and some of them they give you a 1 egg discount. It's the kinglet, the vireo, the gray warbler, Australian reed warbler, and the golden-headed cisticola. But you're not normally digging for those birds. I just thought that was interesting that most of those have bowl or star nests. And then another less than positive thing, guess how many predators have a bowl or star nest? The answer to that is 4. There's only 4, guys. I don't know the percentage on that, like 3.5%, something rather. So you've got the little penguin, okay, the burrowing owl, which we saw for the base game, kind of sucky brown power, the shrike thrush, gray shrike thrush, I believe, that you can stick in the forest. It's a low 2-point bird, kind of situational. And then the gray butcher bird, which I think is the best of the 4. So as we know in Wingspan, a lot of these higher point birds, the predators, are higher points. So you're not going to see those golden eagles, great horned owls, red-tailed hawks, Benelli's eagle, imperial eagle. If you're running a falconer type setup and you have that bonus card, maybe the willy wagtail isn't your go-to bird that you want to rely completely on for card access. All right, I just thought that was interesting because you're missing out on a ton of 6, 7, 8, and even 9-point birds like the bald eagle, etc. So I thought, just shedding a little light on there. We talked about high point birds, we talked about bonus cards, the predators, and then we talked about some notable cards that are really good, like the noisy miner, house finches, hummingbirds, chaffinches, things like that. But let me tell you why the wagtail is dropping lower and lower on my mental scale, and that is because of Rule 16. And for those new players, Rule 16 is a made-up rule. It's not real, but the online community, somewhere, somehow, someone made this term of Rule 16, where you pick up a card from the tray, say, man, I think this mallard would be really good in my wetlands, only to reveal a better, best, or even perfect bird for your opponent. Yay, I got that mallard, and then I just revealed the white stork, right? That would be an example of Rule 16. So here you go. And I'm finding in my experience that the willy wagtail is great at exposing 1, 2, or even 3 birds that I cannot touch. And you might be unintentionally just giving great birds to your opponent on a silver platter. Like I said, you're not going to find those Benellis, the white stork, the ravens, the killdeers, the chaffinch. Even if you find the right bird, you're like, yay, I got a Bell's Vireo for a bonus card. But then I revealed the mute swan and the kakapo and the chiff-chaff to my opponent, and you're like, man, I think that brown power did more harm than good. And that's a big conclusion of mine, that this bird has hurt me just as much as it has helped me. So we talked about the pros, we talked about the cons. In that 113 pool of birds, you could be grabbing things that are nothing. a bunch of hot garbage. Eurasian Jay, thanks. American Red Start, like, didn't really need that. So I think going into it, I just had too high expectations. I posed some questions at the beginning. Is it the new wood duck? Does it meet expectations? Is it overrated, etc.? And to me, my conclusion, just looking simply at the filter of birds that I can have access to, the Willy Wagtail is below my personal expectations. That reset of the tray is just, it's a coin flip for me. If I need a card, I'm going to use it. But if not, there's a very good chance I could be revealing something great to my opponent. I will take the wood duck all day because I can select 2 specific cards to pull. I only get to keep one, but the Willy Wagtail hurts me in that regard. So my conclusion is that it's mid. It's just a mid-tier bird. It's not upper echelon. It's not overpowered. If I get dealt this, I'm playing it. I'm not saying it's not usable. It is definitely a round 1 play for me if I can get a hold of it. Because like I said, I can use those extra cards in other ways. Now, I've seen a game or 2 where it turned out well. I'm not saying it's an automatic loss, but I'm definitely not saying it's an automatic pickup. Because drawing cards in this Oceania expansion isn't harmful or a wasted turn. Like I said, a lot of these cards, a lot of these wetland powers are very beneficial. So is it worth it to go all in on the Wagtail? I don't know. In round 2 or 3, I'm leaning more towards no. In round 1, I'm giving the Wagtail the benefit of the doubt that I'm going to draw that big 8-point warbler with the bowl nest and it's going to pay off. But how many times is it not going to pay off? You know? So that's my conclusion. This sounds a little bit more like a rant, but I don't care. It's our channel. We just do what we want. Thank you for listening this far. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree or disagree, good experiences, bad experiences. But this is it. It's a mid-tier bird. It's usable, but it's dropping down a peg. I thought it was going to be awesome. Stick it in the grassland and go. Stick it in the forest and go. And it's just not. Let's be real. Maybe with more expansions, it's going to be better, and we're going to have some great bowl and star nest birds. That's all I got for the Master Wing channel. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Peace.